Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Thorns, but you can call me Sasha, and welcome to something different. In my last upload, I completed the Pokemon Red Mono Bug-type Nuzlocke, and because that run allowed me to use every bug-type encounter on the Generation 1 games, I decided to use my experience from that run together with other personal runs I've done in the past to rank every bug-type encounter from Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow. As always, remember, this is my opinion and I hope to tell you guys what to expect if you have to use one of those encounters in a Pokemon run. I'll be going through its stats, movesets and encounter conditions to give you a better understanding. That's enough rambling, let's get to the video. This list is going to be worst to best, and without a doubt the worst bug-type encounter on Generation 1 is Butterfree. Let's dissect what this blue butterfly is so lacking. Its stats are nothing to be envious about, because its best stat is special at 80, which in on itself isn't a very high base stat. His speed is mediocre, meaning he won't be outspeeding many major threats, and to round it up, its defenses and HP are terrible, to say the least. Which is very important, because Bug Flying is a bad type combination with 6 weaknesses. Its moveset isn't making any headlines either, because the best damaging level up move Butterfree gets is Psybeam, which isn't stab, but can actually deal some damage. And to be fair, if you are willing to waste up Psychic TM on your Butterfree, you can, but you won't get much return back on that investment, so if you have to use a Butterfree in the final stages of the game, your best option is to make Butterfree a status spreader, since it does get access to Stun Spore, Sleep Spore and Toxic, and if you really want to min-max it, Double Team gives this frail bug a chance at survival. However, with those defensive stats, don't expect much out of this Pokemon. Also, although it is a bug flying, Butterfree gets no stab attacks at all. A common problem in Generation 1 games, to be fair. The only saving grace about Butterfree is that you can encounter it very early at Viridian Forest, meaning you can get it before the first gym, and truth be told, against Brock, Butterfree is incredibly good. It evolves very early and it gets Confusion at level 12, allowing for a clean sweep of Brock's Pokemon because Geodude and Onix have atrocious special stats and no rock-type moves to fight back. But that's where the Butterfree's graces, and because it falls off hard in the late game, which is why it is at number 6. Getting into the number 5 seat, and it pains me to say because this is my favorite bug type from Generation 1, it's Parasect. Although personally I love this fungi bug, its stats don't love me back. Although a 95 base attack isn't bad, 30 base speed in a game where speed affects crits it's terrible. Every good thing I can say about Parasect gets put down by its speed stat. Its bulk is also nothing to glance at because with Bug Grass dual typing, Parasect has 6 weaknesses, half of those being 4 times weak, so yeah. That's not good. Moving on to its moveset, and Parasect gets a point because it is the only Pokemon in the game that can learn Spore, a 100% accurate sleep-inducing move. But like I said earlier, its speed stat kinda destroys that. It also gets access to Slash and Leech Life and Growth to setup, although for setup, I believe Swords Dance is better if you are willing to waste your TM on a slow Pokemon. Speaking of TMs, Parasect gets access to Dig, a great move for it, along with Body Slam, but on the stab side, it gets some love as well, however, in the form of Mega Drain with a low base damage or Solar Beam, a 2-turn move, leaving Parasect and its terrible defenses at the mercy of the opponent for 1 turn. Not the greatest moveset. On a more positive note, is a very early encounter, being found at Mount Moon after the first gym, and with Leech Life, Scratch and Stun Spore it can solo Misty, and Dig gives it an upper hand against Surge, which it can also solo easily, resisting its electric type moves in return. From then on, its speed stat catches up to Parasect and it falls hard, which is why it is at number 5. I know, in my video I said that this was one of the best encounters Generation 1 games, but at number 4, it's Betrayal. Let me explain. Although by looking at its stats you won't believe it, because let's face it, 80 attack and 75 speed don't scream power, not with those defenses at least. They are decent enough to what this single B can achieve, because Beedrill shines, ironically, in its moveset, because you are looking at the only Pokemon that gets offensive stab bug type moves, because at level 20 Beedrill gets Twin Needle, a 25 base power bug type move that hits twice and has a chance to poison. It is insane how much damage this move can do, with it being super effective against 3 types, yes, because in Generation 1, Bug was super effective against Poison, one of the most common types in the games, and Psychic is the best type in the game, so a super effective move against that is amazing. Finally, Grass is a great type to go against because so many of the Grass roster is Poison type, making them 4 times weak, and the Poison helps out a lot. That's not it, because Beedrill can also get access to focus energy for more crits, Swords Dance for a setup, and Double Team to increase its chances of survival. Because Beedrill, it's still very frail. Given how early you can get your hands on this Spike Bee, because, like Caterpie, it is found in Viridian Forest before the first gym. Given it isn't much help against Rock, but by Misty it should already know Twin Needle, and this move will carry you all the way through Misty and Erika, having a good chance against Surge, but it is harder. Koga can be annoying because, well, Koga is annoying, and Sabrina, if your Beedrill survives that far, with some speed investments can also be doable, so Beedrill can be useful, in some cases a key member against 5 out of the 8 gym leaders. And that is why I believe this Murder Needle is one of the best encounters in Generation 1. But to be fair, and the reason why it is at number 4 is because from Gym 6 onwards, Beedrill sucks. Let's be fair, it has a late fall off, but it falls straight down. And now we have reached the halfway point of this list, and to stand third in the podium we have Venomoth, Pokemon that just kept on surprising me in the last run. With a double base stat of 90 in special and speed, this purple moth has a good chance at dealing a lot of damage, and with a combined base 60 defense and 75 HP, which isn't great, but it lets it survive some hits in case of an outsped. These stats are great all around, but its offensive prowess comes from the fact that Venomoth learns Psychic by level up, one of the greatest moves in the game, which is incredibly useful on a Generation 1 Nuzlocke. Along with Psychic, I like to give my Venomoth the Toxic and the Mega Drain TM for some coverage and status potential, along with Leech Life, because there are so many dual Grass and Poison in this game that stab Leech Life can actually be a great source of recovery. All of this is great, and to add, Venomoth is a mid-game stage encounter because you acquire it after the 4th gym. Well, technically you can get it earlier, but I don't like to wander too much in my gameplay unless there's a really good reason for it. Anyway, although Venomoth can be considered a late encounter, it is in the late game where it shines brighter because it has a great stance against Koga, it can take a punch from Blaine and dish out some status or reliable damage. Giovanni is very weak to special attacks, so it is a given, and Venomoth can easily solo Bruno and Agatha. Of the Elite 4, this simple moth can take care of half of them. At number 2 we have Pinsir, and let me just say, this Pokemon is a beast. 125 attack and 85 speed turns this Pokemon into a force to be reckoned with. It can take several punches with its base 100 defense, although its special side isn't the strongest, it is fast enough to outspeed most of the threats. And being pure Bug works on its favor, only having to be cautious about fire type moves, since rock moves are very rare in the Pokemon Red regular Nuzlocke along with flying, and are both physical types, so they have a wall to pass through. Literally. So stats are great, but what about the moves? Okay, Pinsir has a severe case of Gen 1 level up moveset syndrome, but it can be salvaged by giving it a TM for Body Slam. That attack stat and a chance of the paralyze pretty much guaranteeing the outspeed turns Pinsir into a god. And with Slash and Swords Dance being acquired by level up, and you pretty much have a Pokemon set up to sweep the game, leaving nothing behind, except for Ghost types. Have you noticed something curious about Pinsir's moveset? It cannot touch Ghost types at all, and this is bad because it basically means Pinsir can't deal with either of Agatha's Gengar and Haunter, and during the Pokemon Tower side quest you pretty much can't use it until you face Team Rocket at the top. It can be easily acquired at the Celadon City Game Corner before the 4th gym in Pokemon Blue with 5,500 game coins, which you can get if you save some money, or not so easily acquired in the Safari Zone. It is not available in Pokemon Red. To sum it up, this Pokemon is amazing, and it being a guaranteed encounter if you want to, just makes it so much better, and the only reason for it to be in number 2 and not number 1 is the Ghost type disadvantage, because it can touch half of Agatha's team, and that is a big letdown. And at number 1 is the only Bug-type Pokemon left, that is Scyther, the best Bug-type encounter on the Generation 1 Pokemon games. Its stats are incredible, with 110 base attack 105 speed, this Pokemon is going to outspeed and crit everything in front of him. Although its defenses and typing aren't great, the sheer power it can dish out will most of the times mean that Scyther can KO its opponent before it even gets a chance to move. And to turn great into greatness, this Green Mantis gets the perfect moveset by level up, with Slash, Swords Dance, Double Team and Quick Attack. Being all you need to wreak havoc, you can set up defensively and offensively, and with Slash's high crit ratio, everything will be critically sliced. However, there is a big but here, because Scyther has the same problem as the number 2 seat, because it can't deal with ghost types, right? Well, yeah, but only if you are playing Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue, because in Pokemon Yellow, Scyther learns Wing Attack by level up, making it even more destructive and removing its biggest weakness, but only in Pokemon Yellow. However, this is still the best Bug-type encounter in all Generation 1 game, because it is faster and gets crits easier compared to Pinsir. That is why I gave it the edge. Since Scyther acquisition is the same as Pinsir, in a Celadon City game corner I had to really weigh out its damage output and overall performance throughout the game. And to me, Scyther is better. However, I can understand an argument where the top tiers swap out places. So, that's the list/guide of all the Bug-type Pokemon you can encounter in Generation 1. I hope to give you guys more of this list and guides as I continue to complete and upload more and more Nuzlocks, not only for Generation 1 games but also for all the generations and games. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and as always remember to never stop being yourselves, and peace.